What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today we are doing our second video in our how to paint series for Monster Fight Club's Borderlands, Mr. Torgue's Arena Badassery miniatures. We are painting all these up so we can throw them into our bunkers and badass this campaign. I'm really excited. We previously did the Aurelia that came with the Kickstarter, and now we are going to be working on Nisha. Nisha is known as the Sheriff of Lynchwood and is an optional boss in Borderlands 2, encountering during the mission's showdown. And she is also featured as a playable Lawbringer class character in Borderlands the pre-sequel. So she technically is a playable character in pre-sequel. Same with Aurelia. Aurelia was also a pre-sequel character. I might actually just go ahead and do the pre-sequel guys first and then move on to the other known characters, because I've already done one. This will be the second. But yeah, we are now looking up some pictures online to get an idea, a reference, so when I'm painting it's kind of easy to just look over and see what I'm going to paint. So yeah. Alright guys, so as you can see, I did find a perfect Nisha photo. This is a photo from, I guess, the art for Borderlands the pre-sequel. This is kind of exactly how the model looks as well. And I did get worried that this little skull down here, you might not be able to see it, but there's a little tiny skull, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to hand paint that on here, because I'm trying to do exactly how these miniatures look. I'm trying to do the exact same thing here. They actually did a little piece on her leg piece. It's a little piece that's like right above my nail, my dirty ass nail. It They put that in the mold. That's actually pretty cool. So that's going to be a lot easier. All I got to do is catch it with the brush. So we're going to go ahead and prime our model and then give it a dry brush and be ready to paint. Okay guys, so now with your miniature primed, you can go ahead and do a light dry brushing. I like to use a folk art light gray. It's very cheap. It's not any of the high dollar paints that you would get for miniatures, even it being a AK paint or a Citadel paint or anything like that. I like to use cheaper paints for just the dry brushing method, because you're wasting a lot of paint in this process. We do have some left from yesterday doing Aurelia, so I'm just going to dab some in there. Just going to try to get as much off as possible, and then we're just going to hit the model up. Just going from the top downwards, catching all the raised areas. You want to make sure you hit all of the model too as well, because you want it to basically catch all of the details. Also, I'm going to let you guys know, the Aurelia video was very, very long, and I even had to cut that down, and it was still very long. So this video is going to be cut a lot. So I'm going to just basically show you this, and then I'm going to basically tell you what I'm doing on the model, where I'm going to put it, and then I'm going to switch frames. You're going to see the paint on there, and from there, because I need to make these videos a lot shorter, because a lot of people don't have enough time to sit on YouTube for 40 minutes at a time. I do, but not a lot of people have that sort of attention span. So there we go. So now we can get some paint onto this model. We're going to start off with a deep brown, because Nisha is brown skin. She's not very dark though, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the deep brown her skin tone. We're also going to hit the deep brown on the leather pieces, which would be her hat, her jacket, and like her buckles here on her wrist. Um, and then once we're done that, we're gonna put a speed paint glazed over top of this that is a like leather look over the jacket and hat, so that will darken them parts up, leaving her skin at the deep brown tone. The deep brown isn't very dark, that's why I'm using this. Now that all of the brown is set, we are going to use a reddish gray. I was going to use a warm gray, but it is probably better with my reference photo to go for a reddish gray for the pants and the guns as well, because they aren't very dark, and I will be going over the guns with a speed paint as well after I put my base coat, because I like to glaze with speed paints. I don't use speed paints to actually paint my models, I use it to enhance them. So we're going to do the gray, and then a darker gray for certain spots that are on this model that need darker gray, and then we will move on to the white, which would be this area. Now this reference photo has a purple skull. There is no indentation here for a purple skull, so what we're going to do, we might freehand this, but we might just leave it white, depending on how much time we have. So now that we have the reddish gray for the pants, we did not put it on the guns. I think I did mention I was going to put it on the guns as well. I'm just going to do a metallic with this and then put the black wash over it, because it's not going to affect it too much. Plus there's blue lighting in her outfit as well, so I'm just trying to depict some parts of it. So yeah, we are definitely going to move on to a Tenebrows gray. We're going to hit up the dark spots, which would be certain parts of her belts, her boots, and I'm going to see, she has a dark brown hair, so I might actually just use a speed paint on that. But the boots, belts, some pieces up here are black and blue, so we'll hit that up with the Tenebrow gray. Now with the very dark gray, it's almost black, but the Tenebrows gray is now on. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the off-white on the shirt area and the little bandage on her arm here. So she has like a little kind of like wrapped up bandage right here. So we're going to hit the shirt and that up with the off-white. Okay, so with the off-white now finally on, we are going to take a gunmetal, because it is a darker shade of metal, and we are going to do the guns, of course. Like I said before, we're going to hit these with gunmetal. We are going to hit some pieces of her equipment, and we're going to hit her armor down here with gunmetal as well. We are going to glaze certain parts of this with a purple, because the reference photo is actually showing like a purple going up her leg and blending. So we're going to try to blend a purple using the speed paints. Speed paints can be a really good tool if you are a normal painter. Some people do like to use speed paints to get the models onto the table. That is completely fine, but I like to use it as a tool. And if you are curious how speed paints work, you can look up a bunch of videos online about that. But basically, if it's over a white, it'll be the color that you are basically putting on. But if you have a base coat, it can actually enhance the colors that you already have. So just keep that in mind. If you are against speed paints, like how I was in the beginning, you can utilize them with your normal paints that you use every day. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start putting the gunmetal on here, and then we'll figure out how we're going to start glazing. So like I said before, once you get all your base coats on, now you can have all the magic happen. We're going to go over the leathers with a hardened leather color, which is a speed paint. So that means we are going to basically glaze this over top of the jacket, the hat, and that is about it. So we're just going to do the jacket and the hat, and hopefully it'll get in the recesses. Be mindful, you don't want to get this on her skin, which is under the white t-shirt and under the jacket, her face, right here in this area where her chest is, or her hands or anything like that. You want to just get it onto the clothes. Hopefully you guys can see now that the model where the jacket is and all the leathers, it pops more. So what we're going to do to make this process a little bit easier for me, I'm going to use a dark wood speed paint just to do her hair, because her hair is already kind of highlighted enough. This will catch the highlights. I won't have to mess with the hair much. I can just, plus it's only just under the hat, so it's not too bad. We're going to hit that up, and then we are going to use a Gravelord Gray to coat all of her pants and her boots and stuff like that. Also the guns as well, because that Gravelord Gray does some magic. Now we're going to move on to Gravelord Gray. We're going to put it on the pants, boots, guns, make all that stuff pop as well. Then after that we can actually go to highlighting, which is almost the very end of the model. Okay guys, so with that basically done, we are going to use a cruddy WizKids brush, and I'm going to paint Rhinox hide on the base area. The cruddy brush is just so the tip doesn't get messed up on a good brush, because with a finished base like this, you can tend to do that. So we're just gonna get this on here, and then we can work on our highlights. Okay, so we are going to do our highlights. At the end of the highlights, what I said earlier with the purple that goes straight up, that is where this comes in. I think I'm going to use the speed paint for that too. It's Dweller Purple, so, or Hive Dweller Purple. I'm really hoping that this works. I don't know, I'm scared, because at the very end this could make or break the model. We're going to find that out. I do have to make some blue points on this model as well. I might make them at the very end because they are final touches, so we are going to work on them, I think, last. So I think I'm going to start with the brown. We did a deep brown. Since I dyed it down a lot with the speed paint, I'm going to go back over with the same deep brown and just hit the higher areas to make it pop. Alright guys, so this is probably very subtle, but the highlights are on there. So to me, I can see the highlights. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but sometimes when you dye down a color that you already put on there, you can go back with the same color, because since you dyed it down, that original color is now lighter than the color that you shaded over. So sometimes that's the best way to do it. Here, that's the case. Now the skin was the same color as I put on there, but we are going to go over a lighter tone of brown over the high raised areas of her skin. So it's going to pop more once we work more on her skin. We are going to move on to the gray though now. We're going to get some highlights on the gray and then pick up and pop some of those details. Alright, so you guys might be able to pick up the detail that I did with the gray, but check this out. You can't go wrong with a perfect butt highlight. What? Okay, so yeah, so that is now on there. That's perfectly fine. We can go over the white now with just a pure white.
just in the crevices, high areas, and stuff like that on her t-shirt and the bandage. So, because her bandage is over there. So, yeah. Okay, guys, so now we are going to work on her skin. I did the white, and now we have to highlight her skin. That's going to differentiate her jacket from her. So, okay, so I'm torn between using a brown rose, which is very, very light. But I think I'm going to start with a medium rust, because it is a lot lighter than the deep brown that we use. So we're going to start with this, see where we get, and if I change it, I'll let you guys know. So what actually ended up working very well was actually taking the deep brown and mixing it with the brown rose. So I did coat it with the medium rust first. It didn't do much of a difference compared to her jacket. So when I took the deep brown and the brown rose, which was the very light one, it ended up lighting her skin just enough so that you can differentiate her jacket and her skin tone, which is great. And this is actually right around her skin tone in the photo as well. So I'm very happy with how the skin tone turned out. You can also go a little bit more with highlights. I'm not, because her face is very, very small, so I can just hit it with just the rose right on the tip of the nose. I might, I'm probably not though, because I do have to go and do the blue areas, which is on the gun and her belt buckle and these pieces down here. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we're going to try to glaze this. Actually, we're going to glaze it first, see how it reacts, and then we're going to do the blue over top of it, because I don't want the purple to override the blue, if that makes any sense. Alright guys, so there was a lot of error. I did end up doing the skull on her white t-shirt, because I just felt like it would bring the purple in her legs together more. And it definitely did. I really like that. I did add the blue, so we had the blue all the way around, and I did speckle just a dot of white on all the blue parts so that it kind of has that sheen. You can do that. Makes the miniature pop more, and yeah. So now all we have to do is we have to dry brush a light earth, which is right here. We got light earth. We're going to dry brush light earth on here, and then we just glue down some of that static, not static grass, but like that grass stuff I do use, and the miniature is completely finished. So with all that all said and done, I painted the base black, added her name, and this is our finished Nisha model.
I really hope that you guys really enjoyed this video today. Nisha's finally done. I'm going to add her to the shelf. I made this video to kind of help the people that are scared to jump into painting or are just new to painting and don't know where to go and what colors to do or the process of it. I did crunch down this video a lot from the one that we did prior, which is Aurelia. That was a very long video. That was like 47 minutes long. This time we kind of crunched it. Instead of actually showing me doing the brush strokes and stuff like that, I just explained to you guys what I was doing and then showed you the end of that process. So hopefully you guys can get an idea of where to put your paintbrush at. Yeah, just to save the time and the time crunch itself, it was just easier to do it that way. So thank you guys for checking out this video. I'm going to try to get another one out this week. these are not a scheduled release upload situation. This is basically, I need to make the time to paint these minis, but every miniature I want to make a video for. I'm not going to do this box set or this Kickstarter without making a video for each individual model. That is my plan. So we did Aurelia, we did Nisha. I think the next one we could possibly do is either the doppelganger, which is Timothy Lawrence, or we're gonna work on one of the pre-sequel characters. So we'll just have to do. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave this video a huge like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if this video helped you out in any way, or if you enjoyed this video while you were painting, leave a comment down below what you enjoyed about this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.